Hi everyone! I was debating on what video to film this week, and I was gonna film a little monthly reset routine, and I still might if you guys are interested, but it occurred to me how much pressure the world puts on us to restart at the beginning of a new year, a new week, a new month. And when I posted my rebrand for 2026, my reset and rebrand with me, I had felt so behind because it was already a couple days into January and I had already seen everybody posting their reset and I just felt behind. And normally for me, my years start off with a clear set routine. I have my vision board done by December 31st so I can go into the new year already knowing exactly what I want. And the beginning of this year was just different for me. It was a little bit slower, and like I mentioned, it's going to be a very, very different year for me. Different than any other year of my life because I'm graduating this year. I don't know what the future holds, and it's hard for me to predict because, like I mentioned, college decisions aren't out. So I'm still pondering my decisions, pondering my options. I've also noticed that every single time that I put so much pressure on myself to start the new year with a perfect routine, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week and put all these crazy new goals and habits into my routine, it just fails. It fails by March or April, and I'm no longer motivated. Last year, this actually happened to me. I was going to the gym at 5 a.m. 5 times a week, and it was just very, very unsustainable. So instead of posting a regular reset routine, since it's the beginning of a new month and putting pressure on myself and putting pressure on my audience, I wanted to remind you guys that resetting doesn't have a timeline. You can do it at any time, any day. You could even do it in the middle of the day if you wanted to. Don't let a day go half-wasted. If you sit in bed and bed rot all day, you still have time to make it a good day. You still have time to go to the gym, cook yourself a meal, read a book. You can turn your day around. You can turn your year around, your week, your month, whatever time it is. You do not need permission from the world or from anybody to reset and restart and actually start working towards your goals. I want to ease your mind and heart by reminding you that a calendar doesn't have to dictate our lives. If your January didn't play out how the world expects you to have it done, or how maybe even you put the expectation on yourself, this is your reminder that it is okay and we can reset and restart whenever we want. With that being said, January is not the only month to restart. A Sunday, a Monday is not the only day to reset in your week. You don't have to wait till the end of the month or the end of the year to restart. Upon reflection, I think that I noticed that this January, I gave myself a little bit of grace for not having it all figured out because, who does? Honestly, there's no rule in life that says you have to have it all figured out. So I gave myself grace this month and I let myself really be in tune with myself and understand what it was that I wanted for this year. Although, like I said, it's going to be very unpredictable. I wanted to have a couple of stable things in my life that I know I can always go back to. I think what I'm trying to get at here is that I wanted stability in my life because there's so much uncertainty. First, I wanted to talk about the pressure of restarting and why we feel pressured to restart. Obviously, it's a new year, and somewhere along the line, collectively as humans, we decided that January is going to be like a reset button. January is the month that everybody wants to have the new year, new me, new goals, new habits, and there's just a lot of pressure, whether that's the pressure that you put on yourself, the pressure put on you from the world, and it's collective. Everybody thinks of it, it's celebrated. So if we feel like we got off on the wrong foot or January didn't go as planned, then the whole year's ruined. I see this a lot on social media, and I've already started seeing it that, I'm done with 2026, 2027 is going to be my year. And while these things can be jokes, our minds are very powerful. What you feed your mind is powerful. What you say out loud is powerful. Putting that energy into the world just doesn't make it any better. I saw this picture the other day and it widened my perspective. It was like a timeline. It was showing that January, it's the tiniest little sliver of the whole year. Just because the beginning didn't go as planned, that doesn't mean that we have to ruin the rest of it, because every day is a new start. Every day has a new 24 hours, and you have the power to decide what you do in those 24 hours. There actually is a lot more time in the day than we think. Everybody has the same 24 hours. It's just the way that you use it that matters. And first of all, your problems don't disappear just because it's January. Your doubts aren't going to clear just because you wake up on January 1st. Your energy doesn't just magically reset. And the truth is, January is a really heavy month for a lot of people. There's so much pressure to be perfect by January 1st after a full month of just hard work, holidays, burnout, and for students, we have exams, finals. It's a really hard month. December is just like the final stretch, and it's like there's those few days right after Christmas that It's like you're supposed to figure everything out after a whole year of hard work. Not only have you just got through the month of December, but you've gotten through an entire year. And I think some people don't give themselves time to really process or even recognize everything that they've done in the full year. And that's kind of the whole point, like a reset, rebrand. But resets don't happen in just one day. It's going to take days, it's going to take weeks for you to grow and actually make some realizations. January is slow because it's the month of recovery, getting back into routine. Expect ourselves to be so perfect and motivated and disciplined before January 1st so that we can go into the new year feeling our best. And we're still processing what happened throughout the entire past year. And when the year doesn't start off how we wanted it to, we don't look at these unrealistic routines and actually recognize it as unrealistic. We question and we doubt ourselves instead. And I want you to take a step back and give yourself a little bit of grace and patience and ask yourself, what if the problem really isn't me? What if the issue is that we are constantly surrounded by pressure and everything that we see on social media that we put on ourselves, the comparison, it's hard to manage. I don't think it's talked about enough, but the pressure that the world puts on us, it's heavy and it's hard to deal with. Real change does not require a change in calendar. Real change does not require a new year, a new month, or a new week. Real change comes from awareness and realizing that you're sick and tired of what your normal life has been and you want change. You don't have to change just because the world tells you to, just because it's a new year. It doesn't require a deadline. It doesn't require a date, whether it's November, October, July. The moment that you wake up and you tell yourself that you're going to be disciplined and that you want change for yourself, that's the day that real change will come. And it's uncomfortable. It's not easy, but as I always say, growth comes from places of uncomfort. In these spots of uncomfort is where you grow. It's where you learn new things. I think sometimes we can force resets or force ourselves to make vision boards when in reality we don't even know what we really want. I'm sure I'm not alone in this aspect, in the aspect that I don't really know what this year is going to hold. So I did mention that while I was making my vision board that I had no idea what this year was going to look like. And I kind of just put things that felt right. But in reality, change doesn't have to come with a vision board. It doesn't have to come with a whole reset day. It comes when you promise yourself that you are going to make change in your life. And again, that moment can come at any point in time, whether that's tomorrow or in a few months. You are the dictator of your own story and you have the power to change things. If there's something you need to let go of, you can do that whenever you want. It doesn't have to come just because the calendar said so. Now, I want to talk about why oftentimes trying a new routine or trying a new habit often fails. I think that people treat resets and restarting as an event rather than a process. A reset can be, sure, it can be a reset day, but restarting and changing a lot in your life is not going to require 24 hours. It's a process. There are things that require time. Limiting yourself to only one day, or in this case, a couple days after Christmas before New Year's, it's not realistic. I've learned that it takes 21 days to build a habit and only 2 to break one. One day is not enough time for your body and mind to get used to something new. The worst part is that some people expect results before consistency, thinking that the results are going to bring motivation and discipline, when in reality, the motivation and the discipline is what's going to bring the results. Growth is repetitive and it's often boring. People aren't going to see the behind the scenes, the work you're putting in, the restless nights, the hours that you're waking up before people to go do stuff, and people are often quick to judge. That's one thing I've noticed, and that's why I'm also a firm believer that the people around you are super, super important. You have to choose wisely who you let in your life. I think something that a lot of people struggle with is delayed gratification, such as going to the gym and not seeing results immediately, starting a new job and not getting money the first day you work. Things require time. You're not going to get results immediately. Like the quote goes, the day you plant the seed is not the day you get the fruit. And that's where discipline comes in. Discipline is getting up and doing those things, especially when you don't want to. Showing up even if it's not your best work, because discipline is just the highest form of self-love. How much do you respect yourself to get up and go to the gym? How much do you respect yourself to finish the book you were trying to read? How much do you respect yourself in doing the things that you want to do? That's what discipline is. You don't have to be so harsh on yourself. Get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym. If it's 5 p.m. and you still haven't gone to the gym, get up and go. You just gotta do it, whether it's your best work or if it's not. As long as you do it, putting in the reps still will make a difference. It's putting in the work even when no one notices it. And another thing that I've learned is that growth makes people uncomfortable. This is especially true for people who have stayed stuck their entire lives and have done nothing to put themselves in uncomfortable situations in order to grow. Someone who has never been disciplined is going to think you're weird for being so hard on yourself, and that's why it's important to surround yourself with people who are supportive, people who are like-minded, those who are going to push you, because ultimately that's what's going to help you grow. People who are going to keep you in check when you don't feel like yourself. To have people around you to encourage you, it's a different feeling, and it's honestly so empowering. Growth makes people uncomfortable when it reminds them of what they're avoiding, and especially of what they aren't doing for themselves. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with people that love you, and even people who don't understand you, but because they love you, they support you. And choose to ignore every single person that gets threatened or even uncomfortable by you trying to make a better life for yourself. Another reason that restarts fail is because people often try to do everything all at once. Go to the gym, eat healthy, read 10 pages of a book, do this, do that, and stack a bunch of things on top of each other when how are you supposed to adapt to so much change all at once? That's not how us humans work. We have to integrate things slowly, and that's why the book Atomic Habits is so good. There is so much value in that book. I feel like I've recommended that book to every single person that I've met since I read it. But one of the things that I've learned is that you cannot change everything all at once. It's hard to even change 2 things at once, but there are ways to do it, such as habit stacking, making things easier for yourself, making things enjoyable so that you want to go back and do it again the next day. People often take restarting as it has to be all together all at once. New routine, new body, new mindset, new identity, but that's not growth. That is honestly just overwhelming yourself and setting yourself up for burnout. Sustainable change is small and it's slow and it's a process. Like I said, you cannot treat growth as an event. It is a slow process that is going to take time to see results. But in order to grow, you first have to lose. And what I mean by that is letting go of everything that weighs you down. Now, this isn't easy. I'm very aware. But once you make that decision and have enough respect for yourself to do that for yourself, everything changes. Just like restarting, losing does not have a date. It happens when you're ready to face it, and that can be at any point in time. And last but not least, you are allowed to change without permission. You are allowed to outgrow people, outgrow old goals, and you are allowed to realize that the life you are living does not fit the type of person you are anymore. And you do not need permission to change that. And this doesn't mean that you're inconsistent. This means that you're aware. And a person that is constantly changing and constantly evolving is always going to be better than a person who chooses to stay stagnant because it is comfortable for them. Time will pass whether you act or not. Life doesn't wait for you. Time will never wait for anybody. January 1st of 2027 is going to come before we know it. And there's no reason to waste the time that we are already given. There's no reason to wait any longer to change if you want to change. There's no reason to wait for a new month, a new year, a new week even. You have a new 24 hours tomorrow, and you can change whatever you want, whenever you want. The people who actually change and who actually grow aren't the ones who have the best plan. They're the ones who keep choosing themselves consistently and choosing their goals over whatever doesn't serve them anymore, regardless of how they feel, because they know that even when it's uncomfortable, it's going to make them better in the long term. If you're waiting for a sign, this is your sign. And I hope this video eased your mind and reminded you that you do not need permission from anyone or anything or a calendar or a new day, new year, whatever it is. You can restart and reset whenever your heart desires. Just make sure that you're mentally and physically ready for it, because it's definitely a journey, and you don't want to ask too much from yourself when you're not ready for it, because it will lead to burnout. But that's where I'm going to end today's video. I know the lighting got a little bit weird. I'm kind of sitting in a spot and you can see like the tags on my car. Sorry about that. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I love talking to the camera so much. It's definitely hard to process my thoughts, but if you guys find these videos useful, please let me know. I will continue making them. But like I said at the beginning, making a normal reset video that you see all over the internet didn't feel right to me. Instead, a sit down giving you a little bit of peace of mind felt a little bit more aligned to how I'm feeling, and that's one of my goals, is to align my content with how I'm feeling right now, because I know I'm not alone and I want you guys to know that you're not alone either. I'm sure there's a lot of us going through the same thing at the same time, but I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!